Anyways, I think Fit, you're in here with me. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? I am in here. I'm just going live on my Instagram, getting everything set up. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know what? I'm actually on my Facebook today too. So if you want to introduce yourself to my Facebook, usually we don't go on my Facebook.
Oh, well, it's such an honor and a pleasure. If you do not know who I am, my name is Michael. I am a good friend and I say family member of Mr. Thomas Isaac Castro here, and I'm an infidelity recovery specialist. And yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'm here to just offer you my insights and whatever I can that will help you in any kind of way.
Yeah. So you guys, we've been working on our podcast now for this is our third month, Fit, believe it or not. And we have a actual like a private session that we do every month. So I want to make sure I invite everybody to that private session. So in the link, and I'll put it in here again just in case it's not showing up for people, but in our chat, there's a link that you can click on and go in there and sign up. And you can join us in a half hour. We'll jump in there and we will answer questions. Man, our last one was straight juice that we were dropping.
Mhm.
And a quick introduction to all of your audience as well. I'm Thomas Isaac Castro, the creator of Shine Campus, also a licensed marriage and family therapist in California. Our goal with our podcast, you guys, is just to be able to help create goodness in your relationships. And we know that it takes a lot. And so we want to kind of guide you on that and love you guys around that as much as possible. So we're
Mhm.
rolling. This month, we've been talking about emotional safety, and today we want to really work on trying to put it in action. It's super difficult, though, to get to a place where we can create an emotionally safe relationship. And there's a lot of different reasons, and we've covered that, a whole lot this month. But um, I feel like us learning more about what emotional safety really is probably the first set. So if somebody was to say to you, Fit, hey, what is emotional safety? What would be your thoughts? What would you give somebody to say, hey, this is what you need to be able to put in your relationship?
Well, what does emotional safety mean? Safety mean to you, first of all,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What is the most important part about emotional safety? Let's get a little bit more specific. Is it more of acceptance and feeling accepted and feeling like I can express myself and you're not going to judge me? Is
Hmm.
it the my emotional safety is that perhaps I don't know when you're going to get mad if I say this, if I do that. I don't know at any given time when I'm going to get that side of you, right? And so there's also that as well. But I would definitely say feeling like you can talk to your partner
Hmm.
and you both can be open to being understanding and not take things personally and take it for what your partner is telling you
Yeah.
and being open and being compassionate with how they feel, even though it may not be, right or accurate, but honoring their experience and knowing that your partner honors your feelings, how you feel, and that's very important to them too, to the both of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So the interesting thing too, and I agree with all of that. The interesting thing is emotional safety isn't just like it's not a definition that's given, I guess, just by us, right? I like how you said first, like, I'm going to ask somebody what that means to them, because I think any set of people, any person can feel safe in different kinds of ways. And so you might be thinking you're creating an emotional safe environment by being quiet, right? And that doesn't create an emotional safe environment for the next person. That actually is scary, maybe. You might think that you're creating an emotionally safe environment by being more vocal and saying everything, but that might not create a good environment for the next person. And so I love how you say that about, like, I'm going to ask that person what it means to you, because emotional safety looks so different for each individual depending on what they're doing. Here's the thing that I think is important for everybody is that it's the presence that we're really trying to create in a scenario. The more that you care about improving your relationship, the more that you care about getting better yourself as an individual, and the less that you try to parent each other, and or operate with fear, the more that your relationship will be an emotional safe place. And so that's really the destination for all of us, is like, can I create a place where my presence is different? Right? And not my fear, not my anxiety, right? Because those are the things that actually create an emotionally unsafe environment, right? Fear, anxiety. Um, so not those things. I'm afraid this will happen, right? I'm worried that this will happen. It's not that. It's the flip. It's like, hey, you know what? I really believe in our relationship and I want to move on that kind of thing. And I'm going to interact that way. That creates an emotionally safe scenario for us. So I think it's a really important situation for us to be able to look at and define. And I think for couples and for people working on their relationships, just being able to define it together would be a huge deal for people to work on. Okay, what are some things that we think would go wrong in being able to find that? I think that's something that will be helpful to our audience. And so I'll go first on this one. I think what people go wrong whenever you start making demands of each other to create the safety. So I used to have a series that says go first, right? You have to be the first one to introduce the safety into your relationship. So you can't go to your partner and say, like, I need you to create an emotionally safe relationship for us so that it could be good, right? That's the wrong way to do it. Instead, you have to say, here's what I'm putting forward as a person to be able to create this relationship the way that I want it to be. And the more we focus on that, that gives the platform for each person to be able to say, okay, I got to do my own work. I don't have to battle my person. I have to battle me to get better in this
Mm.
scenario. And so that creates a different kind of emotional safety scenario. What other things would you say would help couples to be able to create this scenario?
Well, first thing before I get to that, I just wanted to send a shout out to looks like McGann Anthony. He's in the comments section over here. Says hi, and so
Hello.
Anthony, hi. If you want one of these, I'll give you one of these, or you want one of the, and I'll bring it in, and you know what I mean.
Bring it
Thanks.
close and tight. I love it.
I love seeing you guys in the comment section.
Yeah, me
And
too.
if you guys have any questions, drop them. And if we don't get to them right away, we will get to them at some point in the video. But
Absolutely.
definitely recognizing when you yourself are feeling a certain way and you are not addressing that feeling, that feeling goes along unchecked. And so during that time when our that feeling is unchecked, we are in a certain emotional state. And who we are in that state is quite different. And what we do is I'm good. No, I'm good. No. Right. So that's one thing we want to talk about, like tonality and how we even speak to our partner. You know, we
Mhm.
start talking, no, I'm good. I'm good. Cool. You
Yeah,
know, whatever. Right. Um,
super
or
dismissive.
um, and it's interesting too, because if you really look into it, there's ways that we use our voice. If it curves down, it goes straight, or it goes up, it signals a lot. So what I teach to a lot of my unfaithfuls is how you communicate very much matters. Even when you're being honest, it may
Mhm,
sound dishonest. So if
mhm,
you say something like, hey, um, Mike, what time are we going on today? I go, I believe we're going on at 10:30.
mhm.
Right. So that signals uncertainty. So,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you sure
Wait a
about
minute.
that?
Right.
Right. Or when you curve down, it can sound condescending. So you go, hey, Mike, what time are we going on today? We're going on at 10:30.
Mhm,
You see?
mhm, mhm.
So it's the little ways that we come off,
Right.
and especially when we're in those emotional states that triggers it, and then our partner's triggered, and then
Mhm,
it's back and forth from there. But in
yeah,
actuality, it's our own anger, and we are angry at our partner, and we are giving that to them just a little bit, just a little, tss, tss, tss,
yeah,
but then right, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's such tone is a huge deal, and so when we're interpreting or somehow minimizing or dismissive or trying to fix our partners, even without saying those words, tone still will convey that same concept, right? Like, I might feel dismissive and try not to say the dismissive things, my tone will show it off, right? And that's why I think our presence is more important than the words that we're trying to say, right?
Yep.
So you guys, and that's where the huge I think turnover for creating this scenario, an emotionally secure situation, is inside of your heart. You have to really want to create a different situation. You can't just do the words right, because in your heart you have to think like, man, how do I get to a point where I actually have a presence that shows that I care about what's going on in my relationship, even if I can't do it right now. And I think that's where we kind of operate from, because there's two. I feel like there's two different kinds of scenarios that go on when it's not safe. One is a person does things that kind of evoke like a fear or anxiety in somebody, and then that person like shows off that fear and anxiety in different ways that are put off
Mm,
to that next person, and they go back and forth with their own fear and anxiety and worry about what's going on, and they're not even talking about the fear and anxiety. They just talk about the things, right? Like, you're not a safe person and you're doing this wrong and you're doing that. And we just get to a place where it's relationship wise, where you're just dismissing each other and or exaggerating or minimizing who the other person is. And so when that happens, there's a struggle, and it doesn't feel good for either person to be in that kind of scenario. And so I feel like the more that we can focus on, actually, I just want to be here for you. I don't know how to do it, but I want to be here for you. Right. And that in itself changes everything. You talk about tones. If we come from that heart place, then it's a game changer. Right. Yeah. Any questions or follow ups with that?
oh, it's just interesting, like how you said, even if I don't know what to do, right? And I have this idea for a video I want to make where it's like your partner's right there on the ground, they're sitting against the wall and they're sad, and the partner goes up to them, "Hey, are you all right?" And they're like, "No, I'm not." And a short story. The partner's like, "Well, what can I do?" And they're like, "There's nothing you can do." And
Hmm.
then the partner goes, and they just sit there next to them. They sit
Yeah.
down in the same position right next to them and sit there silent.
Hmm.
And then the sad partner goes, "What are you doing?" You go, "Well, if I can't do anything, then I'm just going to sit here and be sad with you.
Right. Right.
I don't know what else to do. There's nothing I can do. Well, then I'm just going to be here and be sad with you."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
I love that. Yeah.
and so it's just about showing up, and like you said, your presence
Hmm.
is what matters, because that is real.
Yeah.
Like if you could feel that. And so when
Yep.
your partner feels that, that's when it's real. It's not about the right thing to say,
Hmm.
because then when it's real too, the tone is removed.
Yeah, and your heart position in that moment is so important. I used to do that with my youngest child, but it was never about mocking, right? So it was never about like when he would cry, I would say, "Hey, do you want me to cry with you? Because I get it." So whatever his intensity was, I would cry and say, like, "I totally get that,"
Yeah.
and to the point where he, when he would start feeling something, he would be like, "Cry, daddy," because he would know, like, like we're
Yeah.
in that moment together. So what you're saying is like 100%, like at least he could feel that. And now I think if it was to turn into a mocking scenario where I'm like, "Oh, here you go again, crying. You want me to cry too? Boo hoo hoo," right? Now that turns into something different. But that's what you're saying. Like the heart has to be right. And I really wanted him to know, like, I get that you're crying and that it's upsetting and it's totally okay, really. Right. And so, now if we turn that into our relationships, it's the same concept. They might be feeling a thing, and my job is just to say, like, can I touch that heart and that feeling at the same time? And it gets super difficult to do. Like what we're saying right here, like we're telling you guys, but it's one of the more challenging things to do, to watch somebody that we care about hurt and really not be able to do something about it, right? And not have the need to fix it at the same time, because fixing it is sometimes what creates the not safe emotional place. And so for us to be able to really have this art form down is it's a bear, and we got to take it on and start practicing it as much as possible. So I love that. Tammy says great advice, Fit. And so yeah, I agree. That's
Oh,
it's huge advice for us to be able to do.
yeah, Tammy Ford, shout out. She is a longtime follower and supporter. So
Uh,
much appreciation, Tammy Ford. Thanks for coming in and dropping that. Big
mhm.
shout outs. But yeah, I love this idea so much. I want to do a full I want to do a full one, but we're gonna have to get into the if you want the full
Yeah,
one, we're gonna have to get into the session, the
and I
private
think
session, right?
yeah, yeah. Make sure you guys register for that. We'll be jumping in there in about 12 minutes. Um, and so, and we did this last month, and it went really well for the people who were in there. I think everybody was grateful for being able to get a little bit closer and being able to have more discussion specifically about their experiences. Right.
Right. And it's going to be me and Thomas and I in there. And you guys can sign up right now. It'll take you a minute. And we're going to be in there right after this. And it's free. This is our last free one, right? This is our last free private session
That
that we're,
is.
and
Yeah.
we will go in there and we will discuss. We will have a discussion. It will just be us, whoever is in there. It's private, just only for us. And so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So I have a fill it or fix it. I got to
Those
fill
are
it or
always fun.
So the husband goes to the wife and tells the wife that he feels lonely. What should she do? Fill it or fix it?
Investigate
Investigate
it.
it. How so? What does
Investigate it.
that look like? I love it.
Mhm.
What does
Okay.
that look like?
Oh, you're feeling lonely. Okay. Well, tell me more about it. Like what's going on? Okay, did something happen? What led to that? Okay. Okay. Before we get to fixing it. Oh, okay. So then that happened and then it made you feel like this. I see. I see. And then so what are you thinking now? What are you thinking you want to do, right? Offering no solutions at all.
Mhm.
You are comforting them.
Yeah.
You are not fixing it for them. You are comforting them and helping them with their loneliness, but also helping them process why they are alone and helping them to see there may be nothing to be lonely about, and it may be just a feeling, or you may help them guide themselves to a better thought process in that moment, which leads to a better feeling. And then that's really all they wanted was perhaps someone to just listen. So I would say that.
And that's a feel it form. I love that because that's a feel it form, and it actually correlates with what you were just talking about of being able to like be next to somebody when they're going through something. So again, you may not have the answer for the reason that your person is feeling lonely, right? But you might be able to at least be next to them while they're feeling it, right? So instead of saying, "Well, you don't have to feel lonely because this, and this is going on." Well, I don't know why you feel lonely. Well, why don't we just start doing this, right? Because loneliness is really an inside out thing. It's not an outside in thing, right? When we think that it's an outside in thing, then we become more lonely. So if we know that as a partner, then it's not our job to be able to fix that. I think it's our opportunity to be next to that, right? And so the more that we can create this scenario of togetherness, and that just so happens to be another opportunity for them not to be lonely. So you kind of end up doing two things, even though that's not your aim. Your aim is to be connected in the heart, right? And the more that you can do that, then yeah, I would go with feel it as well for that idea.
We
Did
have
you get
some
another comment?
what's that?
Did you get another comment in the comment section?
Vic Val 5 says, how do I make my partner who permitted the affair be able to and not make him feel there's too many positive things saying that I would feel with benefit, but they don't realize them. I want him to feel safe and do not want and do not make him feel like I am attacking him by asking him to listen to these sessions. How do I make my partner who permitted the affair be able to not make him feel there's too many positive things saying that I would make him feel the benefit? I'm not are you
No, but
I'm
the
not sure
last
I
part
understand.
I was clear on. What was the last sentence? The very
Um
last.
I want him to feel safe and do not make him feel like I am attacking him by asking him to listen to these sessions.
Okay, so let's just go with that, and I'm gonna make a little bit of assumptions that might
Okay.
not be helpful, but I think it'll be
Okay.
helpful to our audience overall. So, you guys, if you like what's going on in here as we're having conversation and or as we go into our private session, become the things that you're learning. So the sun just shines no matter what. That's actually where the Shine Campus names comes from. So the sun just shines no matter what. I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but even if the clouds are out and if it's raining, the sun is still shining. Even if the earth turns around and goes to the other side, the sun is still shining. Even if there's a shade tree or people decide to go inside the house and hide from it or put on sunscreen, the sun is still shining. And so what does that mean for us in the relationship? What that means is it's up to us to do our shine and allow that to be what it needs to be inside of our homes. The more that we do that, people can't help but see and feel it and experience it, and at some rate want some of it. And so I think that's really important in our relationships. If we don't need to persuade somebody to get into a certain circumstance, our movement does that. Our movement does that for anybody who's ready. Now, it might not be on your time, right? We might want as partners because we love and care about somebody else. We might think like, man, they need to get this right now so things can get better right now. But that's not everybody's timeline. So what I would say is trust your own work and your own process of doing the situation well, and allow that to be the influence that carries your guys' relationship. Now, does that mean they'll come in here eventually? It really depends on the person, right? But what won't help is like a forcing scenario, which it doesn't sound like this our listener is trying to force. They're trying to do the opposite. But the forcing will not help. That would actually reduce or make somebody do this move more than anything. But it's love that actually gets people to move with us, right? It's that wrapping the arms around that helps. When we're doing this or this, people walk away. They reject that, right? So that's our challenge, is to be able to say, like, can I become the thing in the relationship that means goodness? And I think the more that people do that, then they'll be in a good scenario, and they'll want to know what you know, right? They'll want to do and consume the things that you consume,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So try to be that example in your relationship. Do you have anything else? Did you pull out anything else from that, Fit?
Um, yeah, I was just gonna say Vic Val was asking to send the link. I just commented it in my Instagram feed. That's the link to join the session that we're getting into right now. Um, but yeah, it is a process. It is definitely a process. And
Mhm.
excuse me, not all of the times when we're ready, our partner is ready.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of letting go for someone to finally let go and face what they've been avoiding for so long.
Right.
Uh, but again, it is a process, and continuing to be what you said, be that goodness, that righteousness in the relationship,
Mhm.
is more of the direction of it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you guys don't want to pull each other around in the relationship. Don't parent each other in a relationship. As much as possible, let go of that and trust the work that you're doing. And the more that you can move that way, then you stop battling each other. See, so I think too often we battle each other and we get in each other's way from being able to provide the fight ourselves. So like, so if my partner has to battle and fight me, they never get to fight themselves, right? But if I let go of that battle and all I am is love to them, now everything changes, right? And so that's the goal, is to really get to a point where you guys aren't battling each other, because there's enough. It's enough to fight ourselves. Like all the work that I have to do to be a husband and a father is enough. Like there's no reason to battle the next person in my relationship, right? And so I think that's the same thing for everybody else. You're going to do your own fights, and what the other person understands is not always what you've been through, or nor will they even know, right? So they don't need to do your fight, you don't need to do their fight, you just need to love each other through it all. Okay, I know I
you
make
know
that
what's
seem
so
so
interesting?
easy, difficult.
You know what's so interesting? So like in the realm of like superpowers,
Hmm.
like if we were to have one superpower, you know, what about a superpower for a relationship? Um, how about the ability to not take anything your partner says or does personally?
Right.
Whoa. What if we
Mm-hmm.
were to be able to, what if that were to be able to happen? I want to know what you think of that. someone were no longer able to take anything personally, what might
Right.
happen in that relationship?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like people would get to a point of being able to focus on the right things. They'd be able to
Mm,
focus on things that actually build the relationship instead of tear them down. Because as long as you're allowed to focus on what your partner is not doing or take
mm,
things personal, then one is you're in a distraught place,
mm.
which is gonna in turn
Yeah.
be contaminating the relationship at some rate, right? So your partner brings contamination because they're not where they need to be. You bring contamination because they're not where they need to be, and now here we are where nobody's where they need to be, right? All
Mhm.
because we
Yeah.
take things personal, right? Instead, if we could flip it, I think we'd have a focus that says like, look, I have an ability to love people who aren't where they need to be. Specifically, the person that I chose, I have the ability to love that person with their imperfection, with their
Mm,
inability to do X, Y, and Z, right? And now that your person doesn't feel pooped on whenever you're distraught with who they are, right? So I think
mm,
that kind of flips. If we had that superpower where we didn't take things personal, it gives us the ability to be able to be focused on other things that would benefit our relationship.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's exactly it right there. It's
Hmm.
exactly it. Because when we make it about ourselves, we perhaps fail to see the bigger picture
Hmm.
of what it really is.
Yeah.
But we can't see that because we're still holding on to that offense, that feeling, and it is a feeling. I know all about that.
Yeah.
But through repetition, through realizing, through raising the awareness, and through rewiring new behaviors, new choices,
Hmm.
that can progress.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So we got a few more minutes, Fit, but I want to make sure I invite everybody over into our private session. As you guys see that, hey, you know what, we can go a little bit deeper. I have some questions that I need to ask Thomas and Fit. How do we do that? Well, you sign up. You go to the link that we just put in the chat, and you get in there. Um, this is our last costless one. And so you guys could get in there and do the things that you need to do. Okay. So what people don't realize about trust, and I think this is an important conversation for us to be able to close with, which is um, trust grows when emotional safety is available to us. So if you want to build emotional safety, then it's really important. So I'm going to give a conversation that happened um, uh, about a different situation so that people kind of understand. So I had some friends that live in like a complex or like live um, with other people, and their pets, which are little dogs, were super friendly. And then one of them decided like, hey, well, the pets like the pool. I'm going to take the pet in the pool. Well, I think the pool might have been too cold or whatever. So then the pet, scurried off whenever they went into the pool with them. But ever since that, the pet has been afraid or doesn't even like the people anymore, right? Doesn't
Mhm.
even like uh, the roommates
Oh,
anymore. So here's the thing about that situation is there was a scenario of um, I like the emotional trust was broken, right? Like I
yeah.
can't guarantee that you're going to take care of me in this moment.
Mhm.
And we as people in relationships really kind of do the same thing. And we don't really realize like what we're doing or some of the damage that we're doing whenever we create anxious or fearful scenarios. But we're doing damage that people have to repair from. So imagine, and a lot of times it's less about you that you're doing the damage and more about a hook that other people have experienced, right? So if we're building trust, we need to understand there has to be some kind of emotional safety. I can't do that if I'm inspiring fear and I'm inspiring worry, right? And if I've been hooked before by that scenario or I've experienced things by that scenario, then it's going to happen the same way for me, right? So a person who says, you know what, I'm afraid and I'm going to interact a certain way. Well, the receiver of that in a relationship, if they've experienced something hard like that before, automatically there's a bad scenario going on, and it doesn't allow us to create the trust. So the biggest thing that I would say to build the trust and keep that emotional security in the relationship is stop operating out of fear and anxiety, right? Operate out of love. And you have to ask yourself that question, like, is this the loving thing that I'm about to do? Or is it the fear and anxious inspired thing that I have to do? And what do I need to do to work through those pieces as much as possible?
Mm.
Any follow-ups or thoughts that are going on for you, Fit?
Understanding can be a challenge.
Hmm.
Um, and an understanding and going, okay, you know what, I'm going to accept your answer instead of going, no, 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 that's not it. It's what I say it is. It's what I think it is.
Hmm.
Um, and it's not easy because especially when we're in that emotional state and that anger hits or that anxiety hits.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely attacking that emotion help to remove that emotion to
Hmm.
get to the real clarity of
Yeah,
what is to be done.
yeah, yeah. And it's not one, you guys. So like I could see somebody, and I've worked with enough couples to know, like, somebody being able to be like, well, I'm off the hook for what this situation is. That's that person. They're doing it, right? It's not one, it's two. Like, are you providing the best possible place to create security? And that's always going to be a question. It's not just one person that has to go at this thing. It's not a to create emotional security in the relationship, nobody could be done. You could even be good at it and nobody can be done. And so I think that that's really important for us to be able to like think about how things go as much as possible. Okay. All right. What other things do we need to cover before we get into our private session? Because it is time.
um, yeah, let's get into. I don't see any other questions.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, let's jump into it. For those of you, I dropped the link again. It's
Mhm.
right there in the chat. If you guys want to join, we're going to get right into it. But yeah, trust does definitely grow with that emotional safety.
Yeah.
And that is what we so much desire is that safety, that security, that trust. That's why we get into a relationship. We want to know and that person's there. We can depend on them and we can trust them.
All right.
And it is a building process. Yes, it does come over time. And when the trust has been broken, yes, that evidence has already been collected to not trust that person by the betrayed. But what we ought to do, perhaps, is collect more evidence of how to trust, creating more situations, more events, more outcomes that lead to, oh, safety,
Mm,
emotionally safe outcome. Whatever issue situation unfolds, the more the outcome, the end results is safety, is emotion, is we're on the same page. It's okay.
mhm.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, big deal. All right, you guys, we'll see you guys in our private session and or next Friday on our podcast. Enjoy your day, and we will talk to you guys super soon.